Hello students, I just want to give a recap of what we have gone through in the last classes. We have started corrosion and we also discussed about definition of corrosion, theories of corrosion, factors affecting corrosion, that is nature of metal and nature of the environment, and also types of corrosion. So I just want you to pause my video for a few minutes and answer two questions which are being displayed on the screen. Can we prevent corrosion permanently? And my second question is, what are the measures we take to prevent corrosion? So, I hope you can write few ideas by taking a pen and paper. Yes, many of you have written one question, one answer perfectly. We can't prevent corrosion permanently. Yes, no. First question answer is no. Because it is a natural process. It is an unending process which occurs spontaneously because of interaction of atmosphere with the metal. At the same time, what are the measures we take to prevent corrosion? The best daily measure we take to prevent corrosion is we just go for painting. So I would like to introduce today how to prevent corrosion. As an engineer, in order to prevent corrosion, you have to go for the proper design. Before designing itself, you have to think twice and follow some rules so that you can prevent corrosion by preparing a proper design of that article or equipment. Secondly, you can use pure metals or alloys. Alloy is a mixture of homogeneous mixture of 2 or 4 metals or many metals which are being prepared in order to prevent corrosion. For example, steel. Steel undergoes less corrosion in the presence of oxygen and it undergoes more corrosion in the absence of oxygen. Steel is one of the alloy. Third method is cathodic protection. Fourth one is modifying the environment. By using some inhibitors, we can prevent corrosion. We can also protect by passivation mechanism, which we'll discuss in the later classes. And we can also apply some protective coatings. Your paint comes under organic surface coatings. So by using some surface coatings, we can also prevent corrosion. All these are the 7 methods. And out of these, we will discuss proper design, cathodic protection, and passivation, and also protective coatings. Only 4 which are there in the syllabus for our present class. First one is proper design. See, the metal equipment should be supported on legs to permit air circulation and to avoid the formation of damp areas. Imagine this is a water tank on your building. So if the water tank is constructed like this on the slab, this is a poor design because there is no air circulation. Already we have discussed in the last classes, the poorly oxygenated area acts as anode and richly oxygenated area acts as cathode. So this is a poorly oxygenated area where there is no air circulation. This area will undergo corrosion. This is richly oxygenated area which acts as a cathode, anode and a cathode. So there is electrochemical cell formed because of presence of 2 electrode areas. So this is a poor design. If you construct the same water tank or overhead tank on the top of your buildings like this with free air circulation, this is a very good design where you can prevent corrosion. So proper design is a very important principle in order to prevent corrosion. So before welding, I think you can observe here, this is a bad welding and this is a good welding where, for example, this is one metal and this other part is other metal, then welding should be done completely like this, or if this is done like this, it creates again an anodic part and a cathodic part, and here corrosion starts. And here also, if you observe, here there are sharp corners. Sharp corners create stress and it leads to stress corrosion. At the same time, this mechanism of welding is also not correct. Here also there are sharp corners. If there are sharp corners, then it leads to stress corrosion. Welding should be done in a continuous fashion. See, for example, this is one type of metal and this is the other metal. Here you have to weld in a continuous way. At the same time, the curvature prevents stress. So this is the best design and this was a poor design. Imagine this, just see the pictures which were on the screen. And this is your wash basin. What should be design of the wash basin nowadays? If this is the first one is a very poor design, because if you observe here there are in the first design there are very sharp corners. If anything comes like this here, it may stagnate for some time. So this also causes corrosion. It supplies some electrolyte for the sharp corners to undergo corrosion. At the same time, here also there are some sharp corners which causes stress corrosion. So this is also a bad design of a wash basin. This is a good design of a wash basin where the water directly falls down. Water never stays on any walls of the wash basin. So when you are designing any equipment, you have to keep in mind there should not be any sharp corners or any sharp edges which cause stress corrosion. Proper design is always a good thing. When you are designing any equipment, you have to keep few things in your mind. Avoid contact of two different metals. Two different metals should not directly contact with each other. See here, if you observe this tab, this is iron, this is steel. Inside we will keep a small washer or we will thread it. We will thread it and we will keep the steel pipe inside in order to prevent corrosion. So we should never bring two metals in direct contact with each other, because one metal will act as anode, other metal will act as cathode. When two dissimilar metals are in contact, anodic part should be large and cathodic part should be small. Again I want to show you. Here iron acts as an anode and a steel tab acts as a cathode. A large anodic area, small cathodic area. Why we have to do like this means, we have discussed this under relative areas of anode and cathode. If large anodic area is there and small cathodic area is there, cathode always demands electrons. Anode always supplies electrons by undergoing oxidation. Since anode is big, cathode is small, there is less demand for electrons. So anode can supply electrons with less corrosion. Reason why relative area of the anode should be large when compared to area of the cathode. So here also if you observe, this is imagine this is a copper one and here we are keeping some brass fitting. So small cathodic area, brass is an alloy, it acts as a cathode, large anodic area. When you are fitting iron pipes also, like this, we will keep one small brass valves or joints as U joints. This is the reason behind, because it gives small cathodic area, large anodic area and prevents corrosion. When two metals are in contact, they should be close with each other in galvanic series. So we can take zinc which is top in the series and we can't mix with silver. So when you are mixing silver with anything, you can mix silver with those metals which are just above in the series to silver. We are mixing gold in copper because not only to change the properties of gold like ductility and malleability, to make it ornamental, to give it strength, but also copper is a little bit near to gold in the galvanic series. So if the gap is more, one metal will act as anode, other metal will act as cathode. So always keep in mind that when you are preparing two metals for alloys, the two metals should be very near in the galvanic series. Anodic metal should not be coated or painted because any break in the paint would lead to rapid corrosion. We'll discuss this in anodic paintings. This is one of the point. Anodic metal should never be painted. If you paint this iron pipe, we will never paint iron pipes in our houses. If you paint this iron pipe, this entire surface of the iron pipe will act as cathode. Any small peeling is removed of the paint on this iron pipe. That removed area will act as anode. Entire painted region act as cathode. So large cathodic area, small anodic area, it creates corrosion. Always keep in mind, you should never coat or paint anodic metal. A proper design should be, the design of the equipment should allow free circulation of air, which I have discussed in the previous slide. And the proper design should avoid presence of crevices between adjacent parts of a structure, and we should eliminate sharp corners and stress modifications of poor design. We have discussed these two in the last slides. These are the points which you have to keep in mind when you are designing an equipment. So that is the first one.